false issue. I can't stand it. Well, I'll tell you what's not a false issue. The legislature in Missouri has been hard at work. They may very well roll out right to work by the end of the week. Our own Rodney Boyd is joining us right now. Rodney, how are you?
You know, I'm doing well, man. I will tell you that if you're looking for action and people who are trying to get stuff done that they say were their priorities, you don't have to look any further than Jefferson City in terms of the legislature. You know, Mark, good to be on with you. Glad you're talking about what's happening in the state capitol, amongst other political situations, because Missouri has been one of those states that has been issues have ebbed and flowed. There's been a lot of heat on stuff. One of the most significant issues that has consumed legislative time in our capital has been right to work. And never in a million years did anybody perceive that you could take a session that starts January the 9th and before February the 9th, so within a month, take this issue, pass it, get it on the governor's desk, and get it signed into law. And to your point, when you were teeing this up, the legislature, the Senate has passed right to work. It's in the House. The House committee voted it out on 2 days ago. It's now going to be brought up for floor debate tomorrow. It will pass the House. There is some significant speculation that once this passes the House and is signed off on by the legislative leaders, the Senate president and the speaker, who are very much for it,
right,
it could potentially be signed into law on Friday. That, I know for some of your listeners, they may go, what's the big deal? This has been one of the biggest political fights of the last quarter century, not just in Missouri, but in many, many states, in some states that have done it. If your listeners will remember, we saw protests in states like Wisconsin. We saw recall efforts of the governor of Wisconsin. We saw fights in places like Michigan. And I'm telling you, the fact that this issue has been moved so swiftly is an interesting testament to the new reality that is in Jefferson City in terms of having a Republican governor and legislature that say, here are some of our priorities, and we're going to get them done.
We're going to do it. And Missouri, like the state of Kentucky, they just, the governor down there signed this bill recently too, right?
Yes, he did. The governor in Kentucky, they moved at a speed that was even dizzying to our Missouri legislators because they got it done in Kentucky in 1 week.
Wow.
You know, I mean, they had they have some special protocols and rules that they had to implement, but it was done in Kentucky literally in a week, signed in on a Saturday. And I'm telling you, this stuff is real. It's substantive. It changes the marketplace in Missouri. The labor unions have said this is the worst thing that could happen. The proponents have said if that was the case, then explain to us what's happened in the other states where there's right to work and unions are still functioning and doing well. No matter where you fall out in the debate, the policy shift and the policy change is real. It's happening. It'll be done this week, and this is the new world order for Missouri. And so we will know very soon, I think, in the weeks and months to come, what this means for Missouri in terms of job opportunities, manufacturing opportunities. I was told recently by leadership that site selectors, the guys that move these manufacturing opportunities around the country, are now looking at Missouri for the first time ever, because there are certain site selectors that won't even put a state on their list if we consider manufacturing jobs as denied right to work. I'm told these folks are not only looking at Missouri, but they're supposedly planning to come to Missouri in about a week to talk to lawmakers.
So Rodney, I have to ask, what version of this is going to come out of reconciliation or whatever they call it? I'm told that the Senate version had a little different language with like a grandfather clause in it that wasn't in the bill in the House. Is that what it'll eventually look like? What is that detail?
It will be the Senate version.
Okay.
It will be the Senate version. That's the one that is going to get to the governor's desk first. Now, just to be clear, the House version could also get to the governor's desk, and then there would be a reconciliation of which one would take effect. But at the end of the day, the Senate bill, for your listeners, I believe it is Senate Bill 5, is the one that's on its way to the governor's desk. And that literally makes right to work the law of the land, and it basically says that no one can be compelled to join a union or work at a facility. And it doesn't, for those that have a perspective about unions, it doesn't say you can't have a union. It just removes the ability for folks to be compelled to join unions. And that has all kind of political conversations and chatter around what it actually would do to unions. But as I
Sure.
pointed out before, the proponents have said there are a number of states, as many as 10, that have become right to work. And in those states, the unions still have membership. They still serve their members, and they still thrive and have increased their jobs. The union folks say that that's not accurate. The truth is somewhere in the middle. But like I've said to people who've been following this issue, whatever you think about it, this is the New World Order in Missouri, and this is the result of elections. I mean, people talk all the time about whether their vote matters and whether elections really change anything. If you pay attention to what's happening in Washington, D.C., what's happening in Jefferson City, I think it'd be pretty clear, Mark, that the election results do matter, and they matter substantively, and they do change the political policy and regulatory landscape. As there's no better example of those kind of swift substantive changes than what we're seeing in Jefferson City right now.
Yeah, we're talking to Rodney Boyd. Not to belabor this, but one last question on right to work. So this goes into effect. Let's say it gets signed Friday. It's the law of the land immediately. A new company wants a new.
Glad you brought that up because this will go into effect August 28th.
Oh, in August.
So
Okay.
it's a bill going into effect August 28th. The governor would sign it. Effectively, what it would say, however, is for any new businesses that want to do. Any businesses that were avoiding Missouri because they didn't want to deal with the labor-intense environment and those processes, those folks will start looking at Missouri literally from what we've been told by site selectors immediately. So, I mean, obviously it takes time for people to decide other variables about where they're going to go. But the interesting thing that came out of this conversation was the fact that there are site selectors that don't even look at Missouri. So we could have the best land, the best workforce in general, the best this, the best that. But this is a rule in the industry that if you're not a right-to-work state, you're not even in consideration. That's the first barrier to entry for them to decide whether they're going to try to move certain manufacturing industries to Missouri.
So I guess my question is, and you sound kind of muffled. I'm not quite sure if we have a bad connection or what, but if let's say that August 28th this goes into effect, new company locates here. This does not mean that the employees at this new company could not choose to organize, vote in a union, and collectively bargain with that employer, correct?
You are absolutely correct. Let me not sound muffled on that point. Let me be clear. Mark, you are absolutely correct. This does not in any way mean that folks can't choose to organize. It just means that no one will be compelled to organize. It just means that it's not the old world order, it's the new world order where you can have a union shop or not.
Right.
And that's what it means. And that has been one of the crux issues that people have talked about as to whether or not right to work destroys unions and makes them non-essential, or do people still have the right to organize? And the point that has been made by the proponents is that every state, Missouri will now be added to that list, Mark, that has become right to work. Union shops and union membership is still in existence. It is refocused. It is still there, and that's what the proponents say will happen in Missouri, with the one big caveat that they keep pushing out being that there are manufacturing opportunities and businesses that would never come to Missouri because we weren't right to work, and they wanted the option to have a non-union workforce. Now the theory, and we'll see how this plays out in the near future, is that now those manufacturers and those businesses will look at Missouri, and based on our other attributes that will make us attractive for an employer, we should expect to get some new manufacturing and some new businesses building and operating in Missouri. And that's going to be the determination of whether right to work was a success or not.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let me switch to national issue real quick before I run out of time, Rodney. What's your take on the first 2 weeks? Maybe this is too broad of a question, but I described the first 2 weeks of Donald Trump being elected as sort of shock and awe. It seems like the Democrats they can't keep up with all of the stuff that's been flying out of this administration.
Well, let me just say this because I want to broaden what you said. Look, everything that the president and his administration have taken to task to do was laid out for the last 18 months of his campaign. So I don't think there's any surprise that the president is doing the things he said he was going to do. I just think that the challenge is Washington, D.C. is a place where things move very slowly. Historically, things are so there's sort of this inertia about policy and change and getting stuff done. And the challenge for Washington, D.C., for the Republicans and the Democrats and the establishment, is you've got an action-based president. You've got a president that he's not acclimating to the pace that Washington, D.C. expects a new president to acclimate to. He is forcing Washington, D.C. and many other aspects of our federal government and our society and the world to acclimate to his pace. That is unprecedented, right? Not that, look, if you want to, everything that you see President Trump doing, he's already said he was going to do.
Right.
I think people have been hesitant to believe that he was. I think what's been a shocker for the folks inside the Beltway that could not believe that within 10 days from the inauguration, so many policy changes would have been moved forward by executive order. It's unprecedented, and I think people are going to have to realize something about this particular president. His pace is not going to slow down. I've heard some people say, Mark, well, eventually he's going to run out of steam. And I think it's people who misassess and misinterpret how he has worked his entire professional career. This guy's not going to slow down. And so he moves faster than Congress. He moves faster than the courts. And so, look, here's the reality. I think inexorably there'll be some things that the president will need to do that have to go through Congress. That's when you'll see him slow down because Congress just does not move at the pace that this president moves.
No.
But for the most part, he said, this is my agenda. I think it has taken a lot of people inside the Beltway and certainly in the media by surprise that the president is doing the things he said he was going to do. Whether you like those things or not, he is a person of action. He is a person that wakes up every day and says, these are the goals that I want to achieve, and he does them. And whether people are going to get used to that in the next month or the next 6 months, that's the way it's going to be. And I think people are just going to have to acclimate to it.
Yep, and they're flipping and flopping and throwing tantrums while that happens. Rodney Boyd, listen, I appreciate your time. I'm out of time. Let me remind people about Insider Talk with Rodney Boyd. It airs noon to 1 every Sunday here on FM News Talk 97.1. Take care, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, appreciate that. Good to have Rodney on with us. Got to get to a break. Ran over a little bit. 314-969-9797.
The Mark Cox Show on FM News Talk 97.1, 98.7, AM 1490, and 97.1talk.com.
Log on to 97.1talk.com/Allman and you can watch the show live on the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio Cam. Use your mobile device or computer to join the All in the Morning live stream. Arrowhead Building Supply Studio Cam, 97.1talk.com/Allman.
So if you're going to look for a realtor, what's important to you? Selling your home quickly, getting the best price possible. That's why you need to consider Rick and Tracy Ellis. First of all, your home's going to be advertised on both the radio shows right here on FM News Talk 97.1 and their magazine, which is found in over 100 businesses throughout St. Louis. All of that plus social media. Where else can you get that at a reduced commission? These folks don't just stick a sign in your yard and hope something happens. They make it happen. Number one team at RE/MAX Edge Chesterfield. Reach out to them if you're looking to buy or sell a home. TracyEllis.com.
Imagine walking into your mom's house for a visit. She's sitting in her chair and looks awfully tired.
Mom, you okay?
Oh, yeah. I just have a headache and feel a little nauseous.
You think it's the flu?
Well, my eyes are burning. I feel a little dizzy and I'm just so tired.
Mom doesn't have the flu. She's been poisoned by carbon monoxide in her home, and it could have been prevented. Learn how to protect your family from carbon monoxide poisoning by visiting MoSafeGas.com. This message courtesy of Mango, Missouri's Association of Natural Gas Operators.
I think you love that car more than you love me.
Oh, how can you say that?
You hand wash it, you hand wax it, you listen to the same music.
Pure coincidence.
I just hope your insurance company feels the same way about it as you do.
They do. I'm one happy camper.
Maybe that's the reason so many people come to Shelter for their car insurance. We have great agents who are nuts about cars. We're competitively priced, and our claims people are fast, fair, and friendly. To find an agent near you, go to shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
It's here again, guys. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and you know what that means. Time to start thinking about the perfect gift. Or you can simply trust the experts at Sherry's Berries like I do. Picture your sweetheart when you surprise her at home or her office with decadent dipped strawberries made